Oh, what a time it's been, folks. We are back here at CEA with some good old Valorant. Sir Waltham and Moxie back at it once again, Moxon. It's been a little while.
It has. We've got so much to sink our teeth into when it comes to Valorant content. We've got new agents, we've got changes to new maps, and well, I've got my fingers crossed. I really hope that today we get to see both Yoru and that new split changes coming into play because both of them pretty game changing.
Yeah, definitely going to be very interested to see Yoru performed at this level. I'm excited. Anytime you get that new character, you got that novelty for it. You always want to see it, kind of in action, live on broadcast. At least I know I do. But unfortunately, for the start, we are getting word, Mox, that we are going to be starting on bind between GM and Amazon. So definitely looking to see how these two teams tackle this map.
I mean, is it really a Valorant cast if Bind isn't the first map immediately picked?
You got a
Split,
point.
Split. Since the game has been released, I'm pretty sure that people just have too much trauma from playing Split and getting absolutely rolled. So even with the changes coming in, people still default over to Bind. It's going to be very interesting to see whether Euro is going to be one of the agents that gets teased, because we do know that while he is the brand new toy that a lot of people really
Mhm.
do want to play around with, he's also not considered very meta. He's very strong in terms of getting information and tweaking how your opponent
Mhm.
views your attack, but at the same time, other opponents and agents are just a lot stronger at holding space or a lot more reliable, and that's why we're already seeing no sign of the new agent being teased.
Yeah, not quite the case. And we were talking about it a little bit before we actually got on air here, Moxie. Love the concept of, we're sending out those footsteps, little pitter patters on one side of the field as they go to push in on the other side of the field. A little bit of mind games there that always make the game a little bit more interesting by my standards.
He's just the ultimate color caster agent. I absolutely adore him. And I'm going to put my hands up and say it right now. The first time that I ever played Euro, I did the thing where you buy 2 charges of fake outs, you go to the other side that you're not going to be pushing, and as soon as gates open, you send them off and you go to the other point. I am absolutely awful when it comes to Yoru and using those fake outs, but I adore them. Sometimes, it works, and other times they see right through it. But both of these guys not going to be locking in Yoru. Instead, it's going to be something a lot closer to the meta that we see. Sky going to be actually coming out for the side of GM, so you'll have the flashes, the initiation, and of course, a lot of information when it comes to that ultimate. Remember, that ultimate, it searches out the 3 closest enemies, so even if it doesn't do anything, it's still giving you that information necessary to start making pushes.
Certainly it does, as now we're going to be tuning in here. We do see again, didn't catch it the first time. Amazon going to be starting off on this defense here. And so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing out of these teams.
Aloof. Aloof, I'm so jealous. That's the Celestial fan. I don't know
Oh,
if you've seen this, Wolfen, but the
yes.
melee kill, you clunk him right on the head, and I'm gonna say no, I'm waiting for the frying pan DLC to
Oh my
come in.
goodness. We're taking it back to Left 4 Dead style over here. Getting
It's
them with
going
the.
to be it's going to be absolutely wonderful. GM do have a lot of good initiation with the setup that they've got. They've
Mhm.
got the smokes to cover them. It will be the jet smokes as well as the Omen. Remember, she did get a little bit of a nerf for the duration of that one, so you do have to be a little bit faster on the draw when those come down. And Amazon's comp is all about slowing them down as they come through, especially with these sky flashes.
Yeah, a big slow coming through there, rather. A big flash is going to be slowing it down that GM team as now they look to push a few through hookah, but the adjustments slowly starting to come through. And no real hard engagements being made just yet, although a little bit of damage.
A lot of information as well. You actually heard that voice cue coming out from Aloof. Sky is still the only agent that actually gives a sound cue when someone is successfully blinded. So they do know that there is a presence that GM are starting to position around about this B push, but with no move currently being made, we are seeing a little bit of a rotation. So Aloof going to be sticking around mid, will be able to move quickly back to B if it turns out that's where the spike is headed.
J-Boy tries to throw in that curveball, find anything, but hops out of hookah right into a couple errant shots from the classic. Not going to be doing too much damage, though, as it's just a classic. Barely dodges the bomb buddy as well. Now looking to get set up on point.
So I guess just with that Sova trying to be a little bit of an irritation, allowing the jet to come on through from Hooker. Nice and safe.
30 seconds left.
They're trying to control the spacing of the Mac and Elbow at the moment, and Amazon are more than happy to just wait.
One enemy remaining.
And so far, it's looking very good for Amazon. As they push back, of course, it's going to be always looking very good when you get that first round win that usually parlays into that second.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty hard the GM to come out on top, and we do see a lot of teams just immediately give over that second point so they can fully buy into the third round. Unless you're able to get a kill right off the bat and pick up a weapon, that's when you can start seeing this team really start trying to grab that point onto their board. But until then, it's just going to be pick up anything you can manage to grab.
And they certainly will be keeping it a little bit more conservative, as we see not a whole lot being invested there, not much armor, no armor, in fact, the classics as well coming out from the whole team. We'll see exactly what they can manage here. It's going to be the one-way smokes coming in from the Brimstone for the defense, and going to be starting off well, taking down the Jet.
Lance, it's so hard. Stimbeacon already coming out from low life, trying to just shoot through the Omen smokes, is managing to give away the position though. Also the Killjoy, now aloof. Completely blocked off Spike with that Molotov.
Last player standing.
Will be the plant going down, so a little bit of benefit there, a little bit of economy returning it back towards the attackers, but it's not going to be long for this world as the Omen does fall. The defuse sure to come through.
Yeah. Losing one person straight off in Lamps really cost GM. They needed to get that first kill coming in so they could pick up a weapon and upgrade their firepower and try and just keep Amazon at an arm's length, because Amazon knew GM, the only way they were going to actually be able to get any damage done in that round was if they were able to get close, and they were more than happy to just let the attacking team walk right into the snare. Now though, we can start to see that patience play coming out from GM start to pay off. The economy is a lot closer. And so it will be Amazon coming in with not really full firepower, but still something to try and go for those early picks.
Certainly be seeing what they can get set up with here. Again, not that full coming in. A lot of Vandals on that side. As we do look ahead, we're looking to really put the hurt down with that automatic weaponry, with that high impact automatic weaponry. Is now the attacking team looking to be a little bit scattered, sussing out their options perhaps here, Mox.
Yeah, you're gonna have the Omen start snooping around about B long, trying to find any sort of position on where Amazon are playing, because Amazon do have a lot of information with the Cypher camera. It's a lot more reliable than those Sova arrows, because you do get to see the people that are coming through rather than just getting a little bit of an alert. Ash already going to be coming out trying to find if anyone's coming through hooker styles, just firing a couple of shots in to make GM think twice if they do want to push, but he's completely abandoned right now, and Amazon, they've got all of the intelligence, they've got the abilities.
Launching smoke.
And now they know the rotation's going to come through.
We do see that push coming in rather aggressively from the attack. The Phoenix trying to take the duel with the Brimstone, ends up coming out victorious there with the Vandal landing the shots. And with that GM building into showers, trying to rain through, has to back out for the time being, allowing a little bit of breath for the defenders to perhaps reposition.
Styles has taken high ground as well. It's going to be extremely hard though if you've already lost 2 of your teammates and you're only on 3 HP yourself.
Ooh.
GM just get a fire right through there. No smoke to try and
One
hold them
enemy
off.
remaining.
They're able to get one, but GM, they've got the spike, they've got the ticking clock, and Amazon were just a little bit too late in that rotation. They had so much information to try and figure out where GM were playing, but the hesitation to actually maneuver some of their pieces from B over to A in case it was just a bait play really cost them.
But now, on the plus side, we're going to be seeing the field look a little bit more equalized in terms of that firepower. More of those Vandals going to be a little bit equally spread throughout this game, as now we might see these two teams start to go head-to-head on some more equal footing since the pistol round.
Ludot's got from the shadows as well, and I absolutely love seeing how Omens like to invest their ultimates often, because sometimes you get the really aggressive Omens who just go in and try and get a little bit of information, maybe a frag, around the back of the enemy spawn. Sometimes you get the more careful ones. Which one Ludot's going to lean to? We're going to find out in a couple of moments.
Might not be necessary as that initial kill going in favor of GM. The Jet takes a little bit of a wailing herself, but with that Sova down, it's a little bit of a less threat from those shock arrows, from that recon as well, though you still do have the Cypher to contest with.
I love that J-Boy as well is keeping a very watchful eye on the teleport behind them. Listening for the sign cue to see whether or not Amazon are going to try and wrap around and push them, pinch them between the front line and the back line. Drone will get a little bit of information. Hot Hands coming out, trying to block up back, but all that's going to do is pull out the flash from the sky.
Yeah, Loof going to get a little bit more information from that drone as they see it coming by, they hear it coming by, or rather takes the shot into the Phoenix. And with this, it looks like GM were stuttering just a little bit, but they're swinging back. It's just the Brimstone left to try to take, but they're all the way in defender spawn.
Beautiful box play coming out from GM, pushing both from hooker and guns at the same time so that you get so much focus and control of that point. pushing fully as a team as well. Also going to try and invest the Stim Beacon to get a pick. 3 people on the side of GM up and standing. Jet pretty low. Lolith not in the best position to push. Breach. Brimstone Rabbit not really the best at initiating on his own in the current meta.
Yeah.
And we are starting to see that this game is pretty close.
Yeah, did seem a little hesitant coming through from that Brimstone as that jet smoke comes up. Didn't take the opportunity to reposition to get themselves moved towards that side hallway. Instead, just kind of staying there looking towards that point. Maybe comes back to bite them, but now we're at 2-2 as the buy phase comes to a little bit more of a close. We are seeing some long range on the field, though.
Here.
Oh, long range, it's not the deadliest. But it's still going to be something that you do have to worry about. However, where Amazon are currently holding it, it's not that scary. It's not on the high ground at the moment. It's not on A heaven, and GM are really looking to push through showers. Try and grab control of that A point as quickly as they can.
We see the jet trying to push through showers. The smoke going to be landing right on top of them. Making them back off for just a moment. And it's going to be Sensei continuing to throw those arrows, shock into the showers, trying to deal that damage, knowing that those are a really confined space. Nice use of the abilities there, but pushing into this smoke going to be a little risky. Oh, lands right onto GM.
Oh, we've got a Lurk as well coming in. There's a flanking Cypher on the field right now, Wolfham, and GM are just about to find out on A short.
And it looks like it's going to be the bomb taken down early on by Styles. And Dort, a little bit aware of that, turns, not really the turn, rather just the focus on to that target. With this, it's just going to be the Brimstone once again remaining standing. This time not coming from spawn, but coming from that short.
Yeah, Olaf just trying to find anything through the crate right now. Gets splashed out, they know exactly where a Stim Beacon going to be coming through. Once again, very hesitant to actually try and maneuver on with it. It immediately has to give up that firepower and advantage. You're going to be able to come into the range of the Sova, but you're going to put yourself right into the sightline of the Phoenix. This is a beautiful gameplay coming up from GM.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in if you're Lolith, but with that, the attacker's going to be taking their 3rd point, and again, it just looks like they're able to compound a couple minor mistakes on their opponent's teams to really get those victories.
I wonder as well if GM have started noticing how little pressure they actually have to put onto a point for Amazon to pull all of their pieces and try and hold down the one that they're currently pushing on. Because we saw just a little bit of pressure coming out from showers, right? And as soon as that little bit of pressure came out, Amazon immediately had Styles go on the flank to try and come up around the back of GM. And the rest of those holding B immediately started moving towards A heaven. If GM start going for these bait pushes, I'm worried that Amazon could fall right hook, line, and sinker and give away an entire point.
Certainly remains to be seen, as now we do look at the attacking team getting set up. GM and poking and prodding, waiting for these abilities to wear down, perhaps waiting for their opportunity, as there are a couple smokes still on the field, as we see in that Brimstone from the Jets' point of view. But now it looks like they're going to be attempting to push through that A short.
Careful now.
Hot Hand's going to be coming through. Does manage to draw out a recon bot, which is immediately destroyed, but J-Boy's given away the position, and that is immediately going to trigger the Hunter's Fury.
Ooh.
Able to keep himself all the way alive. Full HP, Waltham. That is no easy feat.
Yeah, we were talking about the hot hands earlier. That's a little bit of the hot feet dancing around it, but it's going to be Dom's not able to dance around those shots as they're taken down. And now, suddenly, it looks like GM a little bit on the back foot here, a little bit more on the back foot as they lose that Omen as well.
Yeah, it's going to be the spike starting to move on to that B push, but you can already hear the Sky Flashes coming in full. Little bit of attrition fight right now between a Sova and a Sky. The Wolf is out and hunting.
Ooh,
And the spike is down and camped.
Yeah, J-Boy just having to take a rough opportunity there, having to go over the hookah wall, but just gets caught out as they do. Now it's the showstopper coming out from Guy. Misses the showstopper, actually, does not hit it onto the jet, but eventually the rest of the team is there to clean up, or defenders rather, going to be holding here.
Hunter's Fury is such a good ultimate. The fact that it cuts through the entirety of the map. Yeah, you can sometimes hit your allies. That's just cool.
A lot of times.
A lot of times. I won't comment how many. Towards my Sova ultimates. But it's just so multi-purpose, and we really actually got to see it used very well though. Although it didn't manage to actually hit the Phoenix, it still did enough to deter the push through A short. And when you're up against the clock, when you've only got 30-40 seconds left, plant that spike, you get sloppy, you mess up.
And let's see if that sloppiness continues to hold or perhaps gets a little bit resolved here as
You should run.
hitting on you, going up on towards that high ground. We're seeing Sensei use that drone once again. Does manage to get a recon dart out, but with little effect in the immediate push. All about information gathering though as this Killjoy lockdown will be activated.
Loader using that from the shadows very early on to try and get a read of the high ground as well. It's really going to be coming up from GM this time, trying to keep Amazon off the high ground as that spike is down. The clock is ticking. For the defense, they've still got the more players.
Oh, and it's going to be that Jet taking a little bit of a hit there, gets blinded, then immediately run up on by the bomb buddy. And two members of the defending team. It's going to be tough here as they do still have to maintain a little bit of control and then get the defuse. New door, take it down too though is a good way to equalize things. Make it a third as well. It's going to be the attempt to get out here. Will make it away and able to teleport at the very last moment as well.
Okay, that was beautiful ult usage coming out from GM. There was so much to talk about in that push wall from Slow. First, Ludo uses the From the Shadows to teleport onto high ground so that they can get a read of how many players Amazon have positioned on that A site, whether it's going to be worth pushing it or whether they need to invest a lockdown to try and keep Amazon away. And that's exactly what GM do. The Hunter's Fury, the lockdown, all of it is used to make sure that Amazon can't contest the spike when it goes down. Then the nanoswarms get dropped on top of the spike. GM vacate the point, wait until they're out of line of sight, wait for Amazon to start moving in, and then boom! They go straight for the contact.
You definitely have to consider when it's a harder point to plant, it'll be a harder point to retake if you do manage to get it off. But with that being said, hitting on you, going to be throwing out the knives and taking down Sensei immediately with that. No opportunity for that Sova to get back out onto the field as there are no sages. As now we look ahead. Defense lagging a little bit on that A point here, Mox.
Lacking on the firepower as well right now. Got Aloof and Styles both running around with pistols. And so GM just popping the knives means that you immediately have such a huge leg up. You don't have to get close, you don't have to put yourself into that line of fire, and you've already managed to get two players out of the way of the defense. So whichever point you push, it's going to be short-handed.
Certainly will be, as now it looks like that point is going to be the B side. See Styles creeping around, just waiting in those hallways with their rays, with the brimstone as well towards that spawn, but while taking a little bit of damage from the shock arrows. Now the spike does go down, shots are being traded back and forth. Styles takes down the Jet with a headshot from Sheriff. And we look now, it just seems like this attacking team's doing too good holding this point.
Yeah. It can be really dangerous, whatever map you're on in Valorant, if you start losing points in a row. That currency, sometimes it just slips out of your fingers, and as soon as you lose the currency battle, it becomes so much harder to win any of these firepower duels, especially the opening engagements. That's when it's most dangerous, when you're on that budget buy. But we are starting to see Amazon. They were on the pistols before, they're not on the pistols this time. It's risky. Their creds are not looking healthy. We've got a couple of 100s dotting around about for this defense, and GM know if they're able to win this fight, even if they lose this round, they're still going to be in a lot of a cozier position when it comes to currency weapons.
Yeah, currently not out of the fire just yet. Styles trying to get a little bit of recon on their opponents, but they can only do so much. Aloof really liking to hold this B spot, using those flashes into hookah. No surprise there.
Well, going to be checking the back corner. But it's not the back corner of hookah that you need to worry about, it's the back corner of gardens. Styles on that cypher is waiting to try and meet anyone from GM, and that's already been found out. The flash coming through, forcing the Omen to back away. This is all distraction though, because right now there are only two defending agents on that A site, and they know that this guy is sitting on that B site. They know that the flash is the main stopping power is missing, and they can push in immediately.
This is what we're talking about though, Mox, the immediate withdrawal for the side of Amazon to try to get readjusted there. Certainly coming through in a big way right about now. J-Boy holding on to that Molly spot, just trying to survive. Keeping eyes on the smoke, immediately catching Aloof out. That Sky not going to be able to stand for much longer. Spike does go down, and now everybody's pretty much ready to party on this A site if they're still alive. But GM pulling a couple kills in their favor. All they need to do is just hold on until the clock runs down.
I was waiting for either that smoke to just happen or one of them to run into each other. 2 ships passing the dead of night, or rather the afternoon of bind, as it is just one poor Sova left. At the side of Amazon, that spike is down, the Hunter's Fury is not there. And GM, the jet may be low, but all you need is 2 players to be up so you can control the line of sight. And that's all that needs to happen. You know what the Sova is. Ludot can just wait either for the defuse to come through or the bait to come through, jump out and pick up the kill.
Yeah, no real moment of urgency there for Ludort. They know that they have their jet in their pocket. They have the angle on the bomb that they can take with a quick rotation. And it's pretty much just waiting for the cards to play out as they are on the table.
Well, Ludot has got another From the Shadows up. I was a big fan of how this Omen used the ultimate the last time. And I'm hoping that when we see it again, it's going to be more of the same. Aloof is playing once again, not into the operator. The currency does not allow for it. But the Marshal, and this is still something you do have to worry about. Those long line of sights can be absolutely brutal, especially when that guy is starting to head this B long sight, but not if you're not set up.
This is a rough spot. 2 members remain standing on the defense. This is, you just got to try to claim any sort of victory you can. Maybe stay safe, maybe pull a weapon from your opponents, but Lolith keeping eyes on the showers, which is currently smoked. Gonna have a task ahead of them as now the teleporters are going through towards that B.
It's just 2 players. Orbital Strike is in play. Lolith, if they do want to invest it, but when you're running pistols, you do want to try and save that ultimate. Or a round that's going to be a little bit more advantageous for you to pick up, especially if you're going to go down immediately. Guy who beat you, it's just the raise on their own against a full team, a ticking spike, and you're going to run right into 2 members who know you're going to be trying to get anything done, pick up a weapon, try and get your currency in the clear, but GM were waiting for it. They knew exactly what was up.
Yeah, read that one a little bit like a book. Try to jump out on him on that race, though. Gotta give him the praise for the effort there, although, you know, maybe perhaps not for the result. As now we look again, it's gonna be pretty slim pickings on the side of Amazon. They are gonna manage to get the Vandals out, but not a lot of money left in the bank.
Interestingly, Aloof did have 5 fires and credits, but doesn't opt in for the operator. Is instead going to go for the rifles with the rest of the team so you can still get that armor. And GM, they know the currency's in the clear. Ludot's going to be using From the Shadows to get behind again, to have a little bit of information. Does get spotted out, has to immediately retreat. But you still do know that the Cypher is going to be crossing from that B side over to the A, which means B is going to be just a little bit lopsided in terms of agents that Amazon have waiting.
We'll see if they can make anything happen with it. We see Zwygoose on that recon drone, just searching around. Probably going to be no one, or anticipating where that sky is, but this guy, in similar fashion, going to be anticipating them as it's going to be Ludort taking down a good opportunity here for the Amazon team. Now as the Flash is looking to lean towards that hookah spot.
Beautiful guiding lights coming out, Aloof keeping themselves completely out of danger, but slowing down GM's pushes. Allowing Lilith to open up the orbital strike as well. Doesn't manage to find what they want. You're still controlling Hooker, you're still trying to keep GM at an arm's length so you can pick up a kill before this team properly pushes. Unfortunately, that's just not happening.
30 seconds left.
It was an opportunity there for Amazon, but they need to continue maintaining that. J-Boy looking right into the Fury. Has that run it back, though, to keep themselves alive. Sensei gonna be feeling a little bit good about that they've survived for another day, but can they do anything with 24 more hours?
Well, Amazon's setting up for a little bit of a split push. Low's going to be coming from Hooker, and Sensei's going to be coming from back to try and catch GM. One down, but you do have to get out of the Killjoy ultimate. GM going to be investing that to try and keep that spike in play as long as possible.
And it will be a Sensei who does get detained here, but Lolith gonna be having the opportunity to defuse. Of course, nobody on the field to really contest with that.
Beautiful play coming out from Amazon. Utilizing the crossfire absolutely perfectly. And we are seeing that they have a lot of chemistry when they've got enough agents up. The problem for this defending side is they keep losing players when they really need them. GM are doing such a very good job of picking up early kills, crippling the defense before that spike is properly needed to recontest. And a lot of it comes down to Amazon. When it comes to that defensive positions, they don't like to go for the initiating. They like to try and hold the reactionary positions. We look at how they hold gardens, right? They hide in the corner rather than peeking all the way down B long, and that's meant that martial shots haven't been able to come through.
Not quite. As we look towards this, our 12th round, we do see GM leaning a little bit more heavily towards that B. They might just be looking for another opportunity to get an early kill into this. The Owl drone is going to be going out, and it's met with a grenade from the Rays, trying to flush out that hookah, and looks like they're committing quite a bit of resources towards it. We see those sky abilities coming out as well. And initially, Amazon starting off in a very good spot. Aloof getting 2 kills, and it looks like they may have an opportunity here.
Oof, GM, the positioning. Sometimes in Valorant you have to notice these patterns, and one significant pattern that Amazon's been holding for every single one of their defenses is to position the sky at the back of B point and use the guiding lights, just spam them into hookah. And GM just fed themselves right into the firing line of those flashes, and they got absolutely shredded as a result. We talked about how Amazon were the ones constantly losing members before the spike was properly under contest. This time the shoe's on the other
30
foot.
seconds left.
On the fortunate side for Amazon here, they are man up. GM still has bomb in hands. They're going to try to push slowly towards that point B. Maybe a little more than just slowly. They're going to be getting right up on there, onto the crate. Dom not able to land the shots onto Styles. That Cypher managing to get away for the time being as the palm now going to be going down.
Spike planted.
Amazon have 2 players left. They're going to try and make the exact same magic happen with a crossfire coming through Sensei from hookah. And it's working! You use the Rays to flush GM right into the lining fire of the Sova. And unfortunately, there was nothing that GM could do other than win that firefight. Sensei able to clutch that one out with some beautiful kiting tactics coming out from Guy Who Beat You.
And now, of course, we will be going into our 13th, which means a little bit of a reset here, Mox. We were talking about halfway through this set, you know, the economy not necessarily favoring you if you lose a long string of maps, or a long string of rounds, rather, but now things get to get equalized a little bit more, get put on the same footing.
Yeah, and I'm going to be very interested as well to see how Amazon use this guy. We know that Aloof likes to use those guiding lights in hookah. You can do the same thing on your attack. It's a little bit harder to pull off, but it seems to be what they're trying for, to have this guy come in, use the guiding lights, get a little bit of information. Remember, with that thank you do get to figure out whether a player was there to get a flash. That information can be all you need to properly get a push through, or as you see that first guiding light, you can use it to save ahead. If there's someone waiting to pick you out for a very quick kill on B long, the guiding light's going to flush them out.
We hear that Hawk go out one more time, not able to find too much with it, at least in terms of kills, but J-Boy holding this hookah spot. Gonna get pushed back just a little bit by the Rays with that grenade, but also throwing a curveball in exchange. Shots being traded a little bit back and forth here, but not too much action going on in the immediate, Mox.
We do have a little bit of flank coming through from the defense right now. There is currently a jet on Wargears. And in a couple of moments, they're going to be finding themselves in a pretty rough spot when it comes to pushing in.
You're going to have to be very heads up on that if you don't want to get caught off guard. As oh no, it looks like the teleporter is actually going to be taken, so the A is going to be the site, and initially it's going to be favor going for Amazon as Guy Who Beat You, taking it down Zwygoose. And now it's going to be the bomb plant, and all of a sudden the tempos might be changing a little bit here.
Sensei's about to come right into the face of that Phoenix. J-Boy's the one who's able to win that duel out.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, here it is again. Two ships passing! The Sankey's gonna give him away, but Ludot's still able to win against the Rays.
I was a little bit uncomfortable to watch, but now we have the smokes coming in once again. Ludort firing through the smokes, has to back off as that Killjoy grenade comes through. J-Boy able to get kill onto Aloof. The defuse trying to come online. Lolf not able to push back to stop it.
You've got to feel for Styles. You really have to. Coming out from showers, right out of the smoke and straight into a pistol shot. We've all done it. It's the most painful thing to happen. And now it's going to be a little bit of a broken bite coming through. You lose your pistols, you know that you are at a huge deficit when it comes to the second round after. You're just going to be saving up for that third and really important round.
Certainly will, as now it's going to be GM continuing to have that lead here. 3 points over their opponents. The Marshal's going to be coming out from hitting on you. They're going to be taking it to the showers, but it doesn't look like the attacking team's going to be choosing to route through there, at least not in the initial. They're going to be leaning more towards that B side.
Beautiful duck cover coming out from Ludo is going to be completely unappreciated. Because the smoke is perfect, the height's wonderful, you can actually shoot the attacker's feet as they come through, but Amazon are all stacked on the A side, they don't care about the Omen smokes, and now, because you've used it so early on in the round, Ludot's not going to have it to try and keep the team safe in this next bit.
And J-Boy once again holding that hookah area with the Phoenix. The confined areas apparently do pretty well for fire. It's going to be the push coming through with the Eagles. Trying to land something with Sky. Aloof going to be falling as Lolith not quite there to back their team up.
It's just going to be the server pretty soon, just the Brimstone. Who is on the A side with the spike. You've got to ask yourself, was that all going to be a big old bait? Were Amazon just trying to pull GM's forces attention away from that A site while the spike went towards the B, rather towards the A? But now, this is the round that really counts, right? If you let the defense have this, if you let them have control of the currency from the 10 round onwards, and you only have 5 points to your name, this is going to be game, set, and match. This is something that Amazon need to win. They need to win it with as many members as they can alive possible.
Yeah, we talked about patterns a little bit earlier, Mox, and it seems like for the side of GM, they seem to favor that Phoenix in the hookah, just like they favored, or their opponents have favored the Sky flashing the hookah, so maybe an opportunity there for their opponents to really capitalize upon it. We'll see if they can manage, as hitting on you is going to be taking a little bit of a recon dart, having to back out with that Marshall.
There goes the dart cover again. We're hearing the Marshall warning shots coming through. This is Amazon trying to keep GM at an arm's length for as long as possible so that they can try and find someone with that Marshall. A lot of smoke trying to keep Ludot safe. They've heard the teleport. They know that the Omen's likely to be on the high ground.
Oh.
You can't give away your position. You're going to be putting yourself right into the entire team.
Yeah, hitting on you, caught in the middle of the weapon change animation, it seemed, and now going to be Zwigu's trying to hold out, but as they throw in that recon arrow, they get caught out with it. It's now going to be taken down, and right now it looks very good for the Amazon squad here, as they just have to kill that Killjoy, or hold out until the bomb goes off.
The Lamba's going to be there to try and keep Dome safe from one entrance of lamps. However, the Alambot can't help you on that entrance. Sensei's going to be waiting to meet the Killjoy, and Amazon are able to get a 6th point on the board and start breaking the economy that was available for the defense. The second that the defense are able to really buy into the dangerous weapons, we're talking about operators, vandals, phantoms every single round, that's when the attackers are going to start losing players very early on as these pushes. If you're able to keep the currency in your favor, then you're actually going to be forcing GM to keep a little bit further away towards the back of the point rather than putting themselves into as aggressive positions as we've been seeing them.
Yes, we now look at Aloof leading in towards that B site, and Phoenix again holding out towards that hookah, but this time a little bit more farther forward towards the attacker's spawn. Has the opportunity, but with the run it back, going to be teleported immediately back. So not a lot of action being seen from that ultimate.
They heard the teleporter. Amazon know that someone came through. They all pulled back as soon as they heard the cue. The Omen has been able to get safely back to the team onto that B site. But Amazon haven't actually lost any players in the rotation coming from the defense, and they've been able to keep a hold of a lot of utility. They want to set through Hooker, checking the back corner, making sure that they've got the flashes, but they'll lose the Brimstone!
Oh, and Guy Who Beat You lands a couple of licks onto the Omen, but not able to close that out just yet. There have to be a little bit of recon coming in if they want to secure it in fashion. Styles, again, as well, not able to land those last couple of licks onto the Phoenix. Now, this is a game of inches that Amazon just cannot seem to catch.
Oh, the Sky Smoke. It was perfect to obscure back, but that wasn't where GM were playing. They were playing actually on the back of the point, not in that hallway which the smoke obscured, and so you thought you were in the clear to walk through Hooker. You didn't get anyone with the flash, and unfortunately you lost control of the site you really wanted to push, as now the spike is left. The hand of a very low HP Sova, lower than normal HP Sova, rather, as they will fall and GM start creeping towards that match point. 10-6, Amazon can absolutely come back to this, but gonna require Hunter's Brew to be absolutely huge.
Certainly will as well. Maybe a little bit of funneling using some of their team's abilities will be as beneficial to making that Hunter's Fury get a little bit more punch there, Mox.
You've got to be so careful as well. It's currently against the clock because you've got to be able to get these points on the board before that Killjoy lockdown comes through, because lockdown is so crippling when it comes to an attacking team, because you can use it if they try and push on a point, or you can use it for a retake. Either way, it guarantees that they either have to push aggressively onto that ultimate to try and break it down, or they've just got to get out of dodge.
Well, it remains to be seen exactly how quickly that Killjoy will be getting that lockdown on the field. As now we see shots being traded, J-Boy throwing out the hot hands and getting blinded as they stand within the safety of it. It's not going to be an aggressive push coming through from Amazon just yet. And we're seeing that Sova try to do some recon there. Gaiobichi might have revealed their position by taking down that drone.
Brimstone was one of those players you needed alive right now as well, because Orbital Strike was up and running. But Amazon's team aren't up and they're running in very quick retreat right now. Cypher left alone is the only one standing. And this is just a game of try and get someone out before you yourself. Well, if you can save the weapon, if you can try and guarantee a little bit of currency, seize it through, especially if you're able to pick up Zlykus. If you can upgrade, the upgrade comes through. Stars is going to be meeting Ludo, but you've still managed to do your job. You've managed to get a little bit of currency away from the defenses. They start barreling now, 11-6 towards that 13th and final point.
And you get a little bit of vampirism there, taking their cash, attempting to make it yours, but in the end, if you fall, you don't get to keep the Vandal. You got to rebuy your Sheriff as well if you're going to go that option. But no, it does not look like they'll be leaning on the Sheriffs too much, as now it's going to be the Rifles coming out once again.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's not so much a silver lining for Amazon as it is a rusted one, because GM, even if they lose this round, even if their currency is in the absolute drink, they've got the knives to fall back onto. And that's what teams use, right? If you're down in currency, you use the knives, you use that one-shot potential to immediately still have the threat available to everyone else who does have the weapons.
Oh,
but
no.
GM hitting on you, coming in too, as soon as the round begins, and that's not what Amazon wants to say.
But taking down, hitting on you, a little bit better of a little bit of a moment of reprieve there, as that Sky going to be pushing down now. As Aloof going to be trying to keep eyes out, and as well, the Cypher going to be showing the position of the now defending team. Dom's trying to hold point, trying to keep these lines of sight down on towards that A site, as it looks like the repositioning might be coming through from GM. Might be a little bit of hesitation here. Aloof certainly going to take advantage of it.
Lido heard the teleport and noticed that this guy came through. Is actually going to be using the Sankyu themselves, the Omen teleport coming through, as well as the games one. And oh no, Amazon might have fallen for it. They're heading towards the B push. They might not know that the Omen is still playing while the cover's going to give it away now. You're walking straight from that cover into Hooker. The Boombot's going to come out, try and sniff Udot out into position of the other Cypher, and it's all you need. The crossfire comes through, and Amazon's still very much alive.
A very good opportunity here. At least it would have been if they still had that raise online, able to get the plan. It's all going to have to come down to the Cypher, but it comes down to nothing but a 6-12 scoreline.
Match point. Here we go. And if you're Amazon, you're remembering that last round. You're remembering how you lost 2 players right off. Now, finally, this is the first time that we're actually going to get to see both teams buy into the snipers. This is the big difference. Olaf is buying a Marshall, and hitting on you is buying an Operator. And in the hand of Jet Wolfram, the Operator is so deadly. You've got double updrafts, you've got the dashes to get out of trouble, so you can go for a very aggressive first pick. And even if you're GM, if you lose the Jet, it's not that much trouble.
Yeah, you still have the huge opportunity to come back. Still have the opportunity to pull the Operator. J-Boy going to be trying to take that aggressive corner, takes down guy who beat you, has to run it back to keep themselves alive, and so far this is looking well written for GM, as now they are up 2 members, making it a third as Aloof does go down. Blue Dort looking to send out some sort of darkness, but their team's already taken care of that angle. It's just going to be this Brimstone Lilith trying to hold on, but what can you do?
Hitting on you is going aggressive, and that is going to be the final lap. GM walk away with the point system, and unfortunately for Amazon, GM knew exactly how to play that final round. They knew exactly what position they were in. When they buy the Operator, the first thing that happens when that round starts, we hear the op shot come off. And Amazon hear it too. It's one of the loudest weapons in the game. And you see the immediate reaction, the absolute terror that the agents standing on A short, they just scatter. They know they can't go up against the operator without losing a member, and that push was where they needed everyone alive. So you're better off waiting for the reload to come through and then trying to force the fight. However, GM played the buddy system. The Phoenix was right beside the Jet, so if the op was pushed aggressively on, you would be there with the trade. And unfortunately for Amazon, the second that they gave up a shot and the position, any sort of control of the fight just poofs right up into the air with it. We see GM, they see the escape, the retreat, they push aggressively, they nip the heels of Amazon, and they nip the team's forces.
And one thing I want to ask here, Max, I want to pick your brain about, right? We talked about that pattern recognition coming through. If Amazon perhaps realizes those patterns a little bit earlier, especially with how consistently they're playing the sky towards that hookah, if they're able to, I guess, mitigate those repetitions that they're making, do you think they have a better chance, or do you think it's still just GM playing just a little bit better?
I mean, Valorant is all about finding those patterns. The second that you actually get into the players' minds is when
Mhm.
you're going to be coming out on top. So a lot of it is winning the duel. You have to have the firepower. You have to be able to, have something like a Vandal going up against a Vandal. If you're going in with pistol, you're gonna be dead before the shots even get fired. You have to be able to figure out the patterns of where these players are actually going to be, because we actually saw it a lot of the time for Amazon, right? They knew that someone would very likely be around a corner or hiding in a specific
Mhm.
spot, but because they didn't know which specific spot or what sort of way the player would be hiding in, they had to actually check these places, and it would be a coin flip whether they got it right. A lot of the time we actually saw them check the corner and then immediately realize that the person was actually standing just a couple of inches to the left or a couple of inches higher. In those couple of seconds where you realize, oh no, they're not there, that's when you're dead.
Sometimes all it takes is just a slight miscalculation, a slight misanticipation, and games can tilt just like that, Mox. But one thing I do know is that GM going to be coming out of this looking pretty good. And one other thing I do know is that we will be having a brief little interview here on the other side of this break. I know I'm excited for it, Mox. I imagine you are as well. So, folks, make sure you stay tuned. And just like that, folks, we are back. And as promised, we do have an interview here for you folks at home. Gonna be J Boy hopping in with us. So, J Boy, hello, welcome, and congratulations.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure, my friend. But now I want to ask you, going into this initially, it looks pretty dominant from your side of the field. Is this another, in terms of Valorant, just day at the office for you guys, or is there something you guys are kind of trying out new, experimenting with? What was your mindset going into this?
We're still experimenting with a lot of stuff. We're pretty. Some of us are pretty new to CA, so at least for me, this is my first time being in CA, and so a lot of, or at least the new members, we're trying to figure out, what characters can we play, like what characters mesh well together, and which agents are we supposed to play, and we've been like mixing it up, so we're kind of experimenting.
Okay, when teams say experimenting and you throw a new agent in the mix, that normally means that we get to see the new agent come out. And I was hoping for it, but alas, no one in the lobby picked Yoru. Was there a reason that you guys strayed away from him?
Um, I don't think I think the main reason is that nobody really has played Yoru much. I think that's the main reason. Might see it in the future when more people get used to it. But I do definitely see Yoru has a lot of potential.
See, I'm not alone with him.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Mind games, figuring out all of that information. And actually, speaking of figuring out that information, a big theme of the cast today was patterns and figuring out how the other side was playing. And one thing that we saw a lot of was Aloof the Sky playing the back of B and using guiding lights to try and hold down Hooker. How did you guys work around that?
Yeah, so we knew Sky was playing B most of the defense side. So what we wanted to do was just bait out as many flashes as possible, because that's in our advantage no matter what. If she uses her flash and we go A, she can't use it for retakes. If we do decide to take B, she doesn't have any more flashes when we actually execute. So the main goal in the beginning was kind of just try to waste all her flashes and kind of take as much control of at least Hookah, as much as possible, so that they feel a lot more pressure and start rotating people. And then once we figure out, oh, there's more than two people here, we can go to the other side.
Yeah, and a lot of that adaptability comes down to communication in the game, right? Do you have someone who's actively calling the shots in the team, or is it just all hands on deck?
Kind of all hands on deck, so it gets kind of chaotic at sometimes. But I think as we proceed on with the season, I think it'll be a lot less chaos. We're like there will be less talking over each other. I think in the beginning, like we're still getting used to playing with each other and the way we call things out. So there's a little bit of chaos here and there.
Right, and this is the last question. This is something that immediately struck me as I was reading your team sheets because we don't see a lot of them in Valorant. They are an endangered species, and even the devs have acknowledged this in the patch notes as well. Your team captain in Signature Heroes, there is Viper. Is that on a specific map, or is it just when the team leader tries to force Viper on everyone?
He really likes playing Viper. I honestly don't think it's a bad choice. It just depends on how you play with her and how you use her. But maybe you'll see Andrew on Viper in the future.
Oh.
I'm holding it. Someone clip it. The next time we see you guys in action, I'm gonna pull it up and I'm gonna say, "Yeah, I heard that you guys play Viper."
Viper basically confirmed at this point for the next time we see you folks. But Jay boy, I think that's about all we have for you today. But once again, it's been great having you on here. Before I let you go, do you want to give me the opportunity for any shout outs you feel might be deserved?
Yeah. Shout out to GM and my team. This is my first rodeo, so I'm pretty new, and they've been helping me a lot. Getting ready for these matches, and yeah, just having a lot of fun.
Well, it's a great way to start off, your first experience here at CEA with a very nice little win there. But Jay boy, once again, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
And with that, Mox, I do believe we are about ready to come to our close today. Best of one, always goes a little bit faster than you want. I always like seeing a lot of that high paced Valorant action, but I do know that we will be back next week with a lot more action ready to go.
fingers crossed, we'll see a map that isn't bind. Fingers crossed, we'll
Well.
see a composition that features Yoru. I know he's recent, and it takes a while for people to get comfortable when it comes to those new agents, and a lot of the teams aren't currently running him at the top level, so there's plenty of reasons for people to stay away. But the unused agents, the little gems, that means that we'll see strategies that people aren't prepared for, and those always put a smile on my face.
And we hope they'll put a smile on your face, folks. But the only way for us to find out is for you to tune in next week. So until then, everybody stay safe and take care.